everybody. We are here today at Beckemeyer Family Farm, which is one of the local farms that we work with, and they are here in Winter Garden. So they are literally like 10 minutes from our store. So today we're going to be getting a farm tour of just everything that they grow here. We get strawberries from their farm and some other things as well. So we're gonna have that. We're gonna have a giveaway at the end that's gonna be from the farm. So you guys stay tuned for that. And meanwhile, Jared is going to be the person who is giving us the Royal Farm Tour today. Yes. Thanks, Jared. Yep. He works for Beckemeyer Family Farm. So we're just gonna get started and walk through it and learn a little bit about it as we go. All right. So tell us, how long has it been here and when did it all get started?
The actual farm itself has been in the Beckemeyer family since 1920. Awesome. I think they did a little bit of citrus, they did cabbage, cauliflower, stuff like that.
But that was all dirt farming back
Yes,
then,
it was
right?
dirt farming in the
Okay.
ground, you know, pulling weeds by hand and everything like that.
Right.
There's a kind of a gap in there for a while, but about 4 years ago they started pulling out all the palmettos and getting it ready to farm. And I think they've had citrus now for about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And have been doing strawberries for 3 years now. So this is our third full season, I believe.
So these strawberries you guys grow, obviously that's hydroponically is what you call this system, right?
It's a vertical hydroponic system.
Okay, so tell everybody what is the difference of growing like hydroponically like this, which if we keep walking, we can see how vast they have got. So many strawberries. So it goes
18,000 plants total.
18,000 plants.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That is a lot of plants, a lot of strawberry plants.
Yep.
So what are the benefits of growing them this way, particularly in Florida versus in the dirt?
Well,
there's this way.
Okay, there's a few different, ways that people grow them here. You can see like down in Plant City, they do the rows and they cover it with the tarp.
Right.
But you're taking up a lot more space when you do it that way. And obviously we're over here in Winter Garden, we're a little more space constricted.
Right.
So by doing these towers, for example, we have enough plants to fill up an acre and a half acre. And that's, including other stuff like peppers, tomatoes, and all of that. And some of the benefits are a little bit less irrigation, I would say. Obviously it clogs up and there's some issues with it, but you're not having to do overhead. Right. You're not having to lay down a ton of like drip line or anything like that. If you need to inject nutrients or some type of biofungicide, with our irrigation system, we can do that directly into it, fairly easy.
Right. So, which you guys aren't like a certified organic farm, right?
No, because we don't contribute to the topsoil or grow in the dirt, we'll never be organic. But we don't use any conventional sprays. Everything that we use is organic certified or has an Omni rating of 0, which means you can spray and eat it that day and be fine. That's awesome. Yep. So that means basically, because like in Florida, pests are such a problem. Yes. And everything loves to eat strawberries because they're delicious. Yep. So if you grow plants in dirt, that's where all the bugs are attracted to. And then when the berries are right there, you have a lot harder time keeping pests away. Yeah, the pressure gets high, especially when it gets warmer. Yes. Which is most of the time in Florida. Exactly. So whenever they're grown hydroponically like this, you get to have like the delicious fresh local strawberries without having to have all the pesticides. Because you guys probably know, if you know much about produce and buying things organically, the strawberries are the #1 on the top of the Dirty Dozen list. As far as being the worst for being heavily laden with pesticides. So that's why it's always important to try to buy organically or hydroponically when you can, because then they're not going to have all of those heavy chemical pesticides. They're such a porous berry that everything's absorbed in there and it's pretty much in there. Right. So people who might not know, can you show us like the little life cycle of a strawberry? Because basically, the red part is the flower. Like it's the middle of the flower, which I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but it's super cool. Well, yeah, so you start off down here, you have your crown, and that's where all the growth comes from. It's kind of like, they obviously don't have like a stem, so that's your growth point. Then they sprout out their leaves, and then they send out these little shoots for the flowers. So the flower happens, pollination will happen, and then after that, you actually have the fruit start to form. So this is all seeds that you see on here. So basically the berry is going to ripen, turn red. The riper it is, the softer it gets, and eventually if it was like in the wild naturally, it would just drop off the plant, spread its seeds, and start all over again.
Like literally this part is the middle of the flower, right? Because see how this is like the green part that you normally pull off, and then when the flower gets pollinated and that falls off, then this is like the middle
this
seedy
is the
part.
ovary. It's called the ovary.
I think I read somewhere that they're the only ones that the seeds are all on the outside.
I believe so.
I think that's what I read somewhere about strawberries.
Most fruits protect their seed inside.
Strawberries are all exterior and vulnerable.
Yes.
But they're delicious. So, but as you can see here, they also grow not just strawberries, but a bunch of other things. So can you show us some of the other stuff that you guys grow too and how that works?
Well, right now we have purple top turnips. They're actually pretty popular here. And they're easy to grow under the bottom pots because when you have the water coming down, it's just going to drain through, and it's either going to hit the ground or hit another pot.
Something else.
Yep, water something else. So up here we have turnips. On this side we have onions, just white yellow onions, sweet. And then we have cauliflower and cabbage.
Could you show us some of the stuff that's growing back here? So maybe if we flip back around.
So we've got leeks too. Those go great under the towers.
Awesome.
So we'll go over here.
So, these towers then, obviously they have the pots on the bottom, but then they grow all kinds of stuff in the top parts where you have the strawberries. You can grow all this other vegetables as well.
Yep. See, we have purple cauliflower here, and it's kind of pushing it on the height, but if you're able to get one or two in there, you know, it's a brassica, so it's going to be bigger. It's a little more intensive as far as labor and resources going into it because it takes a while to grow.
Right.
But then we could even do, instead of like strawberries, we can do lettuce and like Chinese cabbages. Awesome. This is actually a spinach mustard green hybrid right here.
Yeah, those look amazing.
And then we have watercress and tat sao, which are some other good like super greens, I guess you could say.
Can we walk through here and see like what you guys have? Here, maybe you want to get in front of us? Hold on, Jared.
Yeah.
Get back. He'll get in front of us so we can walk this way. Awesome.
So we've got a ton of stuff in here. Some of it's experimental. A lot of these Asian greens we're experimenting with for the first time this year.
Arugula?
Yes, we have a ton of arugula. I love it. I make salad mixes for our market, and I'll put that in there with, you know, I'll do
romaine.
Yep, do a little like baby romaine. We've got spinach.
These are really nice heads.
Thank you. So yeah, we'll do salad mixes like that. So it's kind of leaning towards a lot of the cut and regrow.
Is this a purple romaine? What is that? Red romaine?
I think it's red cross. No, that's a bib
lettuce? It looks like romaine.
Raises.
That's awesome. It looks really pretty.
It's probably the heat right now making it kind of grow more like that. Yeah. Got more lettuce.
Broccoli? Is this broccoli down here?
No, these are radishes. And
I saw broccoli sprig coming out.
These look like little Easter egg white radishes.
So you can see they have like the capabilities of growing. Yeah, I guess pretty much anything that you could grow, you can grow here. So you said, I know that you guys were growing this, and before we got rolling, you told us that you guys had recently made some changes too. Like, is that growing this stuff or other things?
Ideally, it was for tomatoes and peppers, but we are experimenting with other stuff, like the cauliflower. We grew probably 100 heads in one bed.
Cool. Can you show us where that is?
Go over here.
Okay, awesome. So, is it?
Yeah, we're gonna go
way over there. Sorry. We'll go way over there. We're just passing by all the lettuces and things.
And then the arugula, after about the third cut, starts to die, so they're ready to come out.
That's awesome.
We also try to do some beans, but with the weather lately, it's been hit or miss.
Yeah, I think it was record highs this week already, is what I heard.
Go from record lows to record highs over here.
That's the crazy part about trying to farm in Florida, which you guys probably also don't realize how hard it is. Like Florida has kind of like a year-round season, but the summer, because it gets so hot, there's really only like maybe 5 or 6 things that grow well, especially in the dirt. So the hydroponic growing, the season lasts a bit longer. And that's an advantage of it as well over dirt farming.
And one of the, you know, California, Florida, Arizona are some of the biggest horticulture states, and Florida has the edge because we can get strawberries, we can get tomatoes, peppers, stuff like that out earlier in the season, whereas in a couple months it'll be perfect temperatures in California to really up their production. Right,
and that's how the local thing works for us. Like, whenever things are in season locally, we try to get them as locally sourced as we can. So you will find in the middle of summer that we're not able to get Florida tomatoes because it's too hot and all the bugs got them and all the plants died. So whenever you come into our store and you're wondering, well, why is this tomato coming from, you know, somewhere cooler? It's because their weather, you know, pretty much like things like lettuce, it starts more southern states, and then as the summer progresses, we'll start getting lettuce from upper states, and it goes all the way to Canada. I know, like when we're in the dead of summer, it's like if you want a salad in the middle of summer, you're not going to get it in Florida unless you're getting it from a greenhouse, which even then the greenhouses have a hard time because it's so stinking hot.
Yep, actually,
and a lot of the plants bolt early, and they I know.
I was working for the rooftop greenhouse in Winter Garden for a while, and it's like even with all their ventilation and their aquaponics, it's still just it's still too hot. So that's part of the problem, but this is cool. So he's going to show us the different, this is some of the new tomatoes and stuff that they're growing. Yes, and it's a little bit of trial and error right now. Obviously, it's getting a little too dense to hold up, so we'll probably have to thin out the planting a bit. Yeah. But this is probably what's going to end up working. So you see a lot of people, they'll wrap the string around it and grow it up that way. We're using clips, that way we can adjust and do anything like that. Because
tomato plants, since they're vines, they want to like climb up something.
But you have two types. You've got determinate, indeterminate varieties, and they really just grow differently. The determinates are going to be bushier, they're going to fruit prevulously and then die, whereas the indeterminates are going to get really tall and lanky and just kind of fruit as they go. And there's disadvantages and advantages to both.
So what variety do you guys have here?
We have mostly determinates or semi-determinate, which I haven't really heard much about, but I guess they live a little bit longer. Let's see if we can find some good examples.
And are these just like beefsteak tomatoes?
Yes, these are Chargers, and then we have Florida 47s back there.
Cool.
And these guys could use a little bit of love. They'll get it.
Yeah, well, I mean, and another thing, if you guys have never been on a farm or worked on a farm, it's like nonstop. You can just turn around and then there's more weeds to pull or more things to prune and I mean plants to pick, and it is a ton to keep up with. So, and then this is all new too with the pots, this part?
They've had it, but I suggested maybe kind of amping up the volume a bit because collard greens, if people know, a cut and regrow. But after a while, you know,
which means you can harvest like a few leaves and then more leaves.
Yeah, but as they get older, they start getting smaller and way starchier.
Okay.
You know, that's when you can rub it, it sounds like rubber, versus the nice, more tender, big broadleaf.
Which last week, if you guys watched that live stream, we did making collard wraps. You can use like, you know, come to the farm or go to the store and grab some collards.
You need to be a nice big size.
Blanch these and make them into little wraps. Watch last week's video if you didn't see that yet. But yeah, those kind of leaves are perfect for that. But obviously, the smaller, tougher ones would be harder. But this is what happens when you harvest part of it.
Yes,
and
these
then it grows
were
back.
the first round, and then we planted another couple hundred, just trying to get them out. But these are still good for like making a mess of them, I guess you could say.
Which is what most people southern states are going to make anyway, a big pot of collards. So cool.
Yeah, and then we actually are doing a lot of different cherry tomato varieties. In that last bed that I showed you, we're going to have what I call a rainbow mix. It's going to be white, black, brown, purple, yellow, all types of cherry tomatoes.
Well, you'll have to let me know when those are ready because we will definitely put those in store. Everybody's crazy about. Oh, look, you can kind of. Well, this is just the many shades of the rainbow of one type of. But look how pretty that is. It literally looks like the shades of a rainbow. That's so nice.
And we've got the yellow ones over here that are kind of cool. They go from like a light green to a semi-yellow to a nice bright yellow. I don't know if you can get in there and see.
Yeah, I see. That's cool. So they get more yellow as they go. That's awesome.
And they taste great.
They're kind of hiding in there.
And we also have Everglade tomatoes, which a lot of people, even growing up in Florida, haven't heard of.
I have not heard of those.
I have to let you try one. They're really good. They get about the size of your thumbnail or smaller.
Okay.
And they grow naturally in the Everglades. And they're a sweeter, more vinegary variety, I guess you could say.
Nice. We're going to eat them right off of the plant because they're not covered in a bunch of junk. That's really delicious and super sweet.
Yes.
Oh, there's spit everywhere.
You want to try one, bud?
It literally tastes like candy almost. Like it's so sweet.
I'm not a huge tomato guy, but
they're so good.
I love those.
Those are awesome.
Yep.
Well, I think, did we cover pretty much everything?
We could show the seed house and microgreens real quick if you like.
Yeah, we forgot you guys had microgreens now.
Yes, and it's a starting up endeavor. We're still doing a little trial and error with that as well. But goals out here, you know, we obviously have our strawberries. You can kind of go through there if you want.
Yeah, let's go through. We'll go walk through.
So yeah, we're trying to kind of figure out what varieties we want on top of, you know, tomatoes, peppers, strawberries, because those are kind of your big three. Lettuce, obviously, but it's what variety.
Cut through here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
It's trying to figure out what variety we're going to grow, because obviously some stuff bolts quicker, like you were talking about.
Right.
And some stuff will last longer. Like some of these bibs that we were looking at earlier probably bolt once it gets a little warmer and consistently warm.
Bolting is where they go into flower and then they turn bitter.
And we could probably find some so people know what to look for.
Yes.
Like right there, that guy, that's actually a pak choi, but he's starting to bolt and he will actually start to flower soon.
See how this looks? They get like tall. It's like they go through a little growth spurt. It's called bolting.
Here comes the flowers on the top.
Oh, look, and it looks like broccoli.
Yeah, it's a brassica, so.
Yeah, they're all the same family. So with microgreens
in here,
you guys may or may not know much about microgreens, but they are like little powerhouses of nutrients and everything. So if you're trying to really pack in the nutrient density in your diet, this is a really good way to do it. This is cool.
Yep. We're a little bit in between stuff right now, but we're getting there.
Okay.
So these are our sunflower sprouts. And this is really the first thing we're doing. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Yellow Dog Eats.
Yeah.
But they're getting their strawberries and their sunflower sprouts from us now.
Awesome.
And we also have them available in our market as well as other folks that buy them for wholesale or for resale and stuff.
We have a lot of requests for sunflower sprouts, so we'll have to start getting those once you guys have enough. That's awesome.
We're thinking of ideas for not growing it in such a confined space and trying to push out and have more volume. But we're also going to do peas, and pea shoots. We're gonna do brassicas like kale, cauliflower, like little sprouts. And
so is this where all the things get started? Like they start in these little
Yes, we've got our second round of tomatoes right here going. Those will be a beefsteak. We've got Swiss chard that we'll probably do retail pots, so if anybody wants to grow at home, they can.
Oh, that's nice.
We've got our cauliflowers and broccolis here, and then we have some lettuce. We actually have a couple trays back there as well, because we have to cycle those out probably every 2 weeks.
Wow, that's
And then
fast.
more cauliflower here. Yeah, once you harvest the lettuce, you need to have more ready to go in.
Right. So they have a constant cycle. So so your season is obviously seems like it's in full swing now, and when does it kind of go until?
I would say for the large production of the vegetables, it'll probably be mid-spring.
Okay.
But the strawberries will keep till about June or whenever the weather just kind of permits.
Yeah.
Last year we stopped at June and we still had berries, but they were smaller.
Right.
They were sweet, but they were just very small. And obviously the pest pressure is way up at that point.
Right.
Like stink bugs will invade and aphids and everything just thrives. So.
Right. They love the heat.
Yes.
Well, we really appreciate you guys showing us around. And so Becca Meyer, they have a U-Pick that's open. What days is it open?
We're open Wednesday from 11 until 5. We're open Friday from, let's see, I think 9 until 1. Saturday, 9 until ? Usually. If we have a lot of customers and families, we'll stay open. And then Sunday about the same. I think we open up at 9 and close around 3 or later.
Cool. So you can come here and you pick the strawberries and pick up some other produce while you're here. We also carry their strawberries in our store, along with some of the other things included. I'm hoping we can get some of these new things in there soon. So we're grateful to have local strawberries that aren't covered in a bunch of junk available in our store that are grown literally just 10 minutes from the storefront.
Not even. It's a mile, it's a mile and a half.
It could be like, what? So is that like 2 minutes? We'll call it 2 minutes. And it's right here on Story Road in Winter Garden. So you guys can look them up, Becca Meyer Family Farm.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, and pretty sure that's about it right now.
Yes,
we're out there.
We'll tag them and all that, so you guys won't have any trouble finding it. So thank you so much, Jared, again for showing us around. So our giveaway this week is going to be 2 packages of the Becca Meyer strawberries, which you guys saw them as we were walking through, but they'll be in like 1 pound packages. So if you comment on this video, then you will be entered to win the strawberries. We'll do the drawing next week and announce the winner then. So we appreciate you guys staying tuned, and I hope that you enjoyed checking out the farm, and we'll hope to see you guys back next week. Have a wonderful weekend, and thanks again, Jared.
Thank you.
strawberry?
No.
Here, you want more strawberries? Here you go, bud. Yummy. Ooh, this is good. Get it right off the plant. Oh, he's like, that's mine. Oh, oh, thank you. That's good. That's good strawberry. Oh. Oh. Just kidding.